Thank you for joining me for UBC's weekly news roundup here on Nile Avenue on this 22nd of February 2026. My name is Moureen Babirye. Let's see what our first report is. Now, President Yoweri Museveni this week met with General Mohamed Hamdan Dagalo, the leader of the Rapid Support Forces in Sudan, at State House Entebbe. Now, the engagement focused on ending the ongoing conflict in Sudan and restoring regional stability. The meeting comes at a time when Sudan continues to face a devastating war that erupted in April 2023 between the Sudan Armed Forces, led by General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, and the RSF. The fighting, which began in Khartoum, quickly spread to other parts of the country, displacing millions of civilians, crippling essential services, and triggering one of the world's worst humanitarian crises. In his remarks, President Museveni reiterated his long-standing position that sustainable peace in Sudan can only be achieved through dialogue and a shift away from divisive politics. He warned against what he described as the politics of identity, saying such an approach only deepens divisions. The president called for negotiations and emphasized the need for African-led solutions to African problems, urging all parties to prioritize peace over military confrontation. On his part, General Dagalo thanked President Museveni for his hospitality and leadership, describing him as a respected statesman on the continent. He noted that Sudan continues to face serious humanitarian and institutional challenges as a result of the conflict and stressed the need for a peaceful resolution. General Dagalo also expressed interest in strengthening cooperation with Uganda and the wider region, particularly in areas of trade, education, and regional integration. Now, in more news, President Yoweri Museveni rallied political actors to rise above party labels and embrace principle-driven politics, saying national progress depends on shared programs and ideology rather than partisan identity. The president made the remarks while meeting a group of leaders and elders affiliated to the Uganda People's Congress, UPC, and the Forum for Democratic Change, FDC, from across 10 districts of Lango sub-region. Take a look.
The group that met the president at State House Entebbe was led by the commander of the 5th Infantry Division, Major General Keith Katunji. President Museveni, who is also the national chairman of the National Resistance Movement, said political cooperation should be anchored on ideas and national interest.
I now thank everybody here for finally beginning to do real politics.
Drawing from personal experience as a farmer, the president underscored the importance of national unity in economic growth. President Museveni also acknowledged that political actors must do more ideological work to explain policies and programs to citizens.
And UNC was very strong in Lango. That's why Obote came as UNC. So we are now going back to Miti rather than who you are. So if that is once we get this, then this NRM, what, it's not the issue. Because I left DP because it was not dealing with the Miti. It was dealing with who you are. Megwa, hours. Which hours is that?
On their part, the leaders pledged to work collectively with the ruling National Resistance Movement for the social and economic transformation of their region and the country.
The people have realized the importance of working for and with government. Your Excellency, this is an issue that we realize we cannot work without support from government. So we have to work with and for government. And I want to repeat that we are ready to to ensure that those who are not for development, we are not going to deal with them as Lango.
Your Excellency, I fully associate with the memo that has been presented here because it represents our voices as the people of Lango.
The NRM Vice Chairperson for Northern Uganda, Honorable Hamson Obua, welcomed the group's decision, saying it aligns with the President's long-standing message on unity and supporting what is right for national development.
In the entire northern region under NRM constituted by Lango, Acholi and West Nile, Lango has gone on record that in the 2026 general elections, we are the winner. We are the winner. Lango beat Acholi, Lango beat West Nile. So we are the winners. And when you are walking, walk like a winner. When you are talking, talk like a winner. When you are jumping, jump like a winner, because we are the winners.
General Katonji, who oversees operations in northern Uganda, thanked the President for hosting the group and commended leaders in Lango for choosing cooperation over division. He noted that various political actors in the sub-region had increasingly embraced dialogue and peaceful mobilization. Charles Ogwal, who presented a memorandum of understanding on behalf of the group, congratulated the President on his electoral victory and pledged continued mobilization for peace and stability.
Now, still last week, Kampala Capital City Authority, KCCA, implemented the trade order bringing all vendors, hawkers, boarders and taxis in ungazetted spaces to a halt. The eviction started at midnight on 20th February 2026 to rid the city of vendors that had not willingly moved their trade spaces.
This is the site of an earlier booming business by vendors and hawkers, boarders and taxis operating in ungazetted spaces of Kampala City. Kampala Capital City Authority, in an operation that started at midnight of 19th February 2026, enforcing the trade orders, evicting vendors who had not voluntarily vacated their trade spaces. Areas that had long been congested with vendors and hawkers, carving out makeshift market spaces along the street and pavements, are now clear.
Street tuweza kuleta ko mudala nozimba n'okuzimba n'osima n'ebinnya n'oteekayo emiti n'emisumaali n'okomerera oba tokyali street vendor gwe kiba kitegezebwa otuuse n'okubeera ng'ogenda mu dduuka kuba oba omaze okutondawo edduuka eriryo so kasisa okujja mu ngeri gye yazeemu n'emenya ebintu ebyo tetujja kugamba nti yabadde mbi wabula yabadde teyagala kusasamaza kye twagala okukola ki okubawabula bakikoze bulungi nga bulijjo bwe tubawabula.
City centre walkways and roadsides, once crowded with stalls and buyers navigating tight spaces, are now more open, allowing pedestrians to move more freely.
Nabo batrage kye tulina okutambulyako tulabe nti naffe nga trade order tukikuuma n'abantu baffe.
Roads leading to major markets, some of which had been partially blocked, are now more visible and accessible.
Abantu babadde basibukiridde okukolera ku butale nga bakolera mu ngeri etagwanidde nga bakolera ku makubo obutale babuvaamu dda batandika okukolera ku makubo ekintu ekitali kirungi.
KCCA enforcement team is live on ground working together with the Uganda police to ensure that nothing goes out of order, to ensure that vendors who would want to come back on the streets don't dare to do so.
But the move has drawn criticism, with some vendors saying that the enforcement risks leaving many young people who depend on daily earnings from street trade without an alternative source of income.
Jangu tukwatagane n'enkola zonna ezisoboka okulaba ng'omwana ono akola ki afune ekigulira magala eddiba, otherwise tugenda kuba twagala bamenyi b'amateeka okusinga abakola.
Tampale nendaga abantu bwenti nembalaga bulungi nnyo timba mbasimanyi kye ngenda kukola mbasirume.
Simanyi mudaala, simanyi kupangisa dduuka, mbadde ku luguudo ebbanga lyonna nendi bweraliikirivu naakolerawa.
Vendors questioned whether the operation will be sustainable without a clear strategy to resettle or integrate them into the formal economy.
Bekati tugenda kukolera batuteeketeteekere mu butale tewali bifo
ebintu babireeta n'amaanyi mangi nojja kulaba nga wiiki 2 ng'era bitandise okukka. Abatembeeyi bano bakole ng'okuva essaawa 11 nga balonzeemu enguudo bakole okuva essaawa 11 paka ssaawa 4 ez'ekiro kesiseerongoose.
The eviction follows a series of efforts by KCCA to rehabilitate green spaces, clear drainage channels and reopen walkways that had been overtaken by informal trading. Cayenne Faith reporting for UBC.
Thank you, Cayenne, for that report. Now, as the 11th Parliament winds up its term ahead of the swearing-in of the newly elected MPs, political analysts are calling for a renewed focus on national interests over partisan agendas. They emphasize collaboration and constructive politics as the race for Speaker of the 12th Parliament gathers momentum.
Parliament is expected to officially conclude business in late May 2026, paving the way for the 12th Parliament. As the transition draws closer, debate has intensified over the performance of the outgoing House and the direction the next Parliament should take. A section of newly elected MPs has openly endorsed Speaker Anita Among for a second term.
When you look at her track record for about maybe 4 years, she has been down to earth. She has brought Parliament to the people.
The ruling National Resistance Movement, NRM party's top organ, the Central Executive Committee, has reportedly endorsed the incumbent presiding officers, strengthening Among's bid.
The rules of procedure provide that the Speaker of Parliament shall be dragged in chair. So when you have had other people go and announce on radio programs, announce through press conferences, I will be standing, I wish to contest, there are supposed to be no contestations. It's supposed to be a process that organically grows within the view of the members after assessing different considerations of the body politic in Parliament.
Speaker Anita Among has previously described the 11th Parliament as a people-centered legislature that prioritized citizens' need. However, political actors continue to weigh in on its record.
Because the Speaker of Parliament can belong to a party. Wapakawulu was NRM, I think. But he attempted to be a neutral arbiter. They think they are in Parliament to facilitate NRM, not to facilitate the country.
This week, while appearing on UBC TV's political talk show, Behind the Headlines, analysts discussed the working relationship between the executive and Parliament and how it has shaped the country's strategic direction.
They are very good at PR. There is a difference, a world of difference between them and their predecessors. So don't joke with Anita when it comes to public relations and working with other people. I will be very surprised if she's not in touch with 90% of all elected MPs now. That she even remains a threat to the party if they took away this resolution which we are talking about. That's why Mapinduzi is telling you, without mentioning, that for the stability of their party. Because Anita is also fast. She's ahead.
So this talks a lot about why the president of this country and the chairperson of the NRM party is doing his best to keep us united as a country, and when he has an opportunity to make sure that his card plays best, like in this race, what you're calling ring fencing is a game of numbers where you have an opportunity that you have numbers, and these numbers are positive numbers that are going to create change, a wind of change, like the female card and the female empowerment. Then I call it a big win and not ring fencing like you were saying.
State Minister for National Guidance, Godfrey Kabyanga, explained why the NRM Central Executive Committee may have opted to back the incumbent leadership.
As a party, but party politics is all about staying in power, by the way. You must assure you're in power, and you must assure your everything you do strategically has to maintain you in what? In power.
Some senior members of parliament described the current house as increasingly becoming a platform for political expression and party positioning, sometimes at the expense of broader national interests.
But we're saying that as an institution of parliament, and I want to trust that this is what the Right Honourable Speaker plans, we will also have an element of helping members of parliament through the induction and orientation process, because a reflection of the leaders demonstrates how a country is taking its direction for the future.
So that if you have a very good ideas in the opposition, how do we interface with those ideas from government, put them together, and advance this country? That should be the agenda of the 12th Parliament. But if you come and you are like, we are going to fight them, you come, you're in government to fight the opposition, or you're in the opposition to fight government, I can tell you there will be no progress. This is not a place for regime change.
Analysts also point to what they describe as a growing trend of populist politics influencing parliamentary debate and legislative priorities. They further draw comparisons between the quantity and quality of laws passed during the 11th Parliament.
Honorable Zake, listen to me. Honorable Zake, there's a gun in the house, but I'm Speaker, I beg.
This new trend of politics accommodates more populist politicians than realistic politicians. You can see how we have been conflicting in passing so many sensitive bills in Parliament. For instance, the UPDF Act.
If you look at the bills we've done, the motions, the processing of accountability committee reports, quantitatively a lot of work has been done. Quantitatively, then you measure the quality, but quantitatively work has been done. We do all the work of Parliament and on time.
We are finishing the 11th Parliament without some of the most volatile incidents like the ones you saw in 2017, as you recall, during the processing of the constitutional amendments, and again the one in 2018 when we were processing the tax bills specifically. We have also processed the anti-homosexuality bill, which the Right Honourable Anita Among steered in the House. All these were contentious legislation, which could have created a little bit of disharmony within the Parliament. But the gentility with which the 11th Parliament has been able to deal with this aspect demonstrates to you the tact and the intelligence that the Right Honourable Anita Among has in as far as dealing with even the most complicated political things.
Emphasis has been placed on improving consultation processes and streamlining collaboration between political actors to promote constructive politics in the 12th Parliament.
And we are always traveling to Entebbe State House to have consultation meetings and agree on the position of the party. So it is not true that there is no time or we have limited time when bills are brought. We first discussed these bills in a broader sense during our caucus meetings, and eventually when we agree on the position and the position of the political party, that's when the bills are brought and then we pass it. So there's no friction there whatsoever.
Bukono County MP-elect Persis Namuganza is the only candidate so far to publicly declare interest in the speakership. Meanwhile, Norbert Mao, whose Democratic Party, DP, has a cooperation agreement with the ruling party, is reportedly still consulting. Although she won on an independent ticket, Namuganza's bid has introduced fresh dynamics into the race, with some political observers warning that it could heighten divisions.
We will debate passionately, even when we have disagreed. That is democracy. But we must do so with decorum, discipline, and mutual respect.
As the clock ticks towards the inauguration of the 12th Parliament, attention now shifts to how the next Speaker will navigate the fragile balance between party interests and national priorities.
Sergeant at arms has changed and there is nothing.
Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gutabinji, UBC News.
Thank you, Daniel and Gloria, for that detailed report. Now, still last week, the government of Uganda on Friday commissioned 2 ferries connecting Buyende district in Busoga to Kaberamaido and Serere districts in the Teso sub-region on Lake Kyoga. The Prime Minister of Uganda, Robina Nabanja, flagged off the vessels on behalf of President Yoweri Museveni at Bukungu landing site in Buyende district. We have a detailed report.
So on behalf of the President of the Republic of Uganda, it is my honor to officially commission.
The government of Uganda has fulfilled her pledge to the people of Buyende in Busoga, Kaberamaido and Serere in Teso sub-region. Today, the Prime Minister of Uganda, Robina Nabanja, on behalf of the President, commissioned 2 ferries that will connect Buyende district in Busoga to Kaberamaido and Serere districts in Teso on Lake Kyoga.
President bw'asuubiza atuukiriza olwaleero tewali kulanga kulala era saagala saawulire saategedde ekidyeri President kye yasuubiza kitandise olwaleero ng'ennaku z'omwezi 20 omwezi ogwokubiri kigenda kuva wano e Bukungu tugenda Kagwara tugenda Kaberamaido Kagwara Kaberamaido.
Thank you.
Hello. We are about to start. We are starting now. VIPs have sat. The first Deputy Prime Minister is inside. Make sure the ministers are resting in the other corner. Kagwara.
President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, in a message delivered by the Prime Minister Robina Nabanja, said the 2 ferries will bring down the transportation cost as well as improving people's livelihood in the area.
We see today is built on that foundation. Infrastructure must serve production, and production must serve wealth creation. The MV BKK 1 and 2 ferries is not merely a vessel. It is an economic instrument. It will reduce the travel time between Buyende, Kaberamaido and Serere from about 8 hours by road to approximately 1.5 hours by water under normal operating conditions. That reduction in time lowers transport costs, reduces post-harvest losses, accelerates trade, and increases income for farmers and traders of Buyende, Kaberamaido, Serere, and other neighboring districts.
According to the first Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for East African Affairs, Rebecca Aritwala Kadaga, this project started at a time when she was still the Speaker of Parliament of Uganda.
I was here in 1990 when the President made this pledge. I was present here. So it's something that we talked about all these years and campaigning to ensure that it happens. So I'm really happy that has happened in our time.
The State Minister in charge of Transport, Fred Byamukama, informed the people of Bukungu landing site that this is entirely the government of Uganda taxpayers' money.
This project, government of Uganda has so far invested in 42 billion Ugandan shillings. This is not a loan. This is a government of Uganda budget.
The 2 vessels were constructed by a Tanzanian company with a carrying capacity of over 300 people, 14 small vehicles and 1 truck vehicle with a capacity to carry 170 metric tons.
Ate webetika ferry tegenda kubuuza ani yawagira Museveni, ani yawagira NRM, ani atawagira. Buli muntu ayingira ebatwala ate ferry yabwerere si ya sente.
Ajanga tsenjire Serere okojere kutwala yoki. Ojire kuubira abantu ba Serere. Ojire just kwaye nabo. Otokoba nocho kutwala yokutunda.
And after this long-awaited means of transport, the people of Buyende are calling on government to tarmac the road from Kamuli to Bukungu landing site in Buyende district.
Now, the Prime Minister of Uganda, Robinah Nabbanja, reaffirmed Uganda's commitment to strengthening trade and investment ties with the United Kingdom. Nabbanja revealed this during the conclusion of high-level engagements with a visiting business delegation on Friday at her office in Kampala. Speaking at the close of the delegation's visit, the Prime Minister thanked the investors for choosing Uganda as a destination to explore business opportunities, describing the engagements as productive and forward-looking. She said the visit provided an opportunity for the delegation to gain a deeper understanding into Uganda's investment climate and strategic growth priorities. On behalf of the government, Nabbanja assured the delegation of Uganda's full support as they transition from expressions of interest to actual investment, pledging to maintain a conducive environment for businesses to thrive.
And we came here with the positive notes, and we have last 3 days been in Uganda meeting the trade partner, industry park, and I think we are now really ready to explore whenever is the right person is come forward to us. So the Saki is full commitment for the Uganda, and they give us a chance, and we are here to support the Uganda because we find it's a more opportunity than ever thought about it. Interest is transport, food processing, tourism, skill development for the education, like just the Prime Minister mentioned about the labor things, and we have got some sort of like a skill development program for the youth as well. So youth, because I find it that if they have a skill development, they can stay a little bit more, they can earn a little bit more, and they can get the train as well. So these are the the main thing. On top of that, we have got the dry transport system. We have a food processing. The people are ready for it. So I think for us it's a win-win situation as a Saki, the group. So Saki group is more or less covers everything.
Meeting with the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister has been instrumental in organising so much of our visit to Uganda this week. We also met a couple of days ago, and we met the Prime Minister in London in October. So we're establishing a very good working relationship with the Prime Minister. She's very dynamic. She wants things to happen, and we're about helping those things to happen, facilitating them to happen for the benefit of our own members, our own businesses which have come here this week, but also for the benefit of Ugandans, because we have a long friendship and we're looking to continue that friendship.
Now, police in Katwe arrested 5 suspects in connection with border robberies within the Kampala metropolitan area. The intelligence-led operation by the Kampala South Regional Police led to a crackdown on a criminal gang in Machindye and a recovery of a motorcycle and other spare parts. Take a look.
Police have arrested 5 suspects over the robbery of motorcycles following a successful operation in Katwe that resulted in the dismantling of the criminal gang.
On the 16th of this month, we received a report of theft of a motorcycle from Awan Mukasa Kenneth. We started investigations. Findings indicate that Mukasa allegedly gave Awan Ndaula motorcycle to ride. Unfortunately, when he returned, he informed Mukasa that the motorcycle had been robbed.
The arrest of the suspects followed a coordinated operation between the victim and the police after a case of motorcycle theft was registered.
Ndaula Bernard, also known as Twine, we arrested Sekatawa Suleiman, Nakana Joseph, also known as Masada, then Kabugo Habat, and then also Kalatunje George William. Those are the ones we have in our custody to help us in investigations.
Police recovered a motorcycle and other spare parts, linking the 5 suspects to additional robberies in Kampala.
We also managed to recover one suspected stolen motorcycle and also one suspected new motorcycle engine with the chassis number that had been removed.
The suspects are alleged to be habitual border robbers who disguise themselves as passengers and drug riders or use force to steal motorcycles.
Kate, that the suspects allegedly pretend to be passengers, hire motorcycle riders, and then direct them to dark spots and rob them of their motorcycles. The 5 suspects will be appearing in court anytime after investigations.
Riders are urged to remain vigilant and strengthen coordination with security agencies to eliminate criminal elements within the industry.
Let them mind about the people they carry and the passengers. These people direct them to the places the passengers direct them to.
This operation is part of the ongoing security interventions aimed at curbing the rising crime rate in the Kampala metropolitan. Abdunasel Lubwama and Regan Ahumza for UBC.
Now, the State Minister for Works, Musa Echweru, assured all road users in West Nile that bridges and roads that are still under construction will soon be motorable. Echweru made these remarks while inspecting the progress of construction in various districts in the West Nile.
Minister Echweru, together with officials from the Ministry of Works and Transport, started the inspection at Karuma Kadim Road, where the rains washed away the bridge and is being reconstructed. Minister Echweru says, due to funding constraints, construction had been delayed. However, the ministry is committed to ensuring the construction of the bridge is done in a short period.
The good news is that they have told me other things remaining constant. Within 14 days from today, they will start doing what they call backfilling.
The project is being funded by the government of Uganda, hence Minister Echweru's call on road users to continue temporary diversion as the bridge is being worked upon.
Because of the technical work involved, it may appear slow, but you cannot tell concrete to set because you want to pass there. Concrete must have to take its normal time.
Afterwards, the minister inspected Nwaya Pakwach Highway that is being worked on by the Chinese company. Minister Echweru clarified on the public concerns about delayed completion of the road.
It is late by many, almost a year, but we are on course now. Just a few critical areas have been addressed by the little resource that was raised, but we continue to mobilize so that all the other places will also be addressed.
At Tangi Bridge that separated West Nile and Lango, the minister commended the work and urged road users to remain patient as the construction works continue.
The people of West Nile, I know, have run out of their patience. They think we have talked so much about this place. But my request, my appeal to my people in West Nile is that continue to hold on your patience and know that work has started, government has started doing this now.
He also confirmed the replacement of the new modern bridge that separates West Nile and Acholi regions as the current one has reached its lifespan.
It's not true that we are removing the old bridge and just going to use ferries in West Nile in this particular Pakwach area. There's going to be another bridge, a modern one, compared to this one. This one has served, and we thank the British for giving it to us.
Principal Engineer Daniga from the ministry says they have set deep ferry landing sites in case of bridge failures.
Right now the contractor is actively monitoring, and we've also set up ferry landing sites as emergencies in case of any failures for the bridge.
The inspection proceeded to the Koboko Yumbe Moyo Road that is funded by the World Bank, where the ministry urged contractors to respect the agreed guideline on environmental protection. Echweru adds that once the road is complete, it will enhance trade between Uganda and neighboring countries.
So we need a road here that can, apart from moving people to people, it will do trade but it can also facilitate law enforcement. It is not preparing for war, but law enforcement. So that is what this road is critical about.
Some local leaders commended the government for the projects and highlighted other issues that need to be addressed.
Only enjoy this road if the barrier in form of ferry in Laropi is worked on. So long as we are not going to have a bridge there, then we shall not enjoy this road.
The ministerial inspection of various bridges and roads that are under construction in different districts of West Nile and Acholi aimed to assess their progress.
In more news, the Minister for Karamoja Affairs, Peter Lokeris, commended the Government of Ireland for the developmental support, especially towards education in the Karamoja sub-region. The Minister was touring Irish aid-funded projects in Karamoja together with the visiting delegation from Ireland, led by the Ambassador of Ireland to Uganda, Mags Gaynor. The ambassador was accompanied by the State Minister for International and Diaspora Affairs, Nile Richmond.
The Irish delegation, led by the Ambassador of Ireland to Uganda, Max Gaynor, and Minister of State for International and Diaspora Affairs, Nile Richmond, have visited different Irish aid-funded projects in Karamoja sub-region. First was a visit to the Manyata tours, where they were taken through Karamoja culture, including food and settlement, among others. At Chismeri Primary School, the team inspected a 2-classroom block with a modern kitchen and school dormitory that was constructed by the UN World Food Program, UNICEF, in partnership with Irish government.
In last year, we registered 167 candidates, and out of them, 67 were boys, 100 were girls. So you realize that there is a higher completion rate for girls than boys.
To thank the Embassy of Ireland, which provided money to the WFP. And WFP provided to AFI, then they gave us this school garden.
These ones have got some positive challenges. Some of them include the following. We have just looked at the dormitory, how congested it is. We have also seen the classes, how congested they are. We want to request, we shall keep knocking at your doors. Please continue remembering Karamoja. And when we are remembering Karamoja, remember Chismeri Primary.
We provided support for a range of areas, but particularly education. And the last time my predecessor came here, you made the case saying you needed a new dormitory. Well, having seen your dormitory today, I know that is the case. And before we came here, when we travelled out from Dublin, I was delighted to confirm that we have allocated funding to build you a new dormitory.
School operators expressed gratitude to the Government of Ireland for the support, saying it has increased enrollment, retention and completion. Minister Lokeris applauded Ireland for initiatives towards improvement of lives in Karamoja.
Away from roaming around in the bushes, they are all coming to schools, and with the help of this nature, I'm sure this area will be changed.
The delegation also visited Don Vittorio's Community Development Center in Moroto Municipality. Ireland State Minister for International and Diaspora Affairs, Nile Richmond, shed light on their new funding in Karamoja sub-region.
18.9 million euro in our development programme in Uganda, but 10.5 million euro of that will be here in Karamoja. It is easily our biggest investment partner here in Uganda, but crucially, we've been here for 20 years because we see it works. We see the new schools, we see the people who are able to get education, we see people who are able to get the healthcare.
The Minister for Karamoja Affairs, Peter Lokeris, thanked the Government of Ireland for funding education in Karamoja. Moureen compiled this report for UBC.
Now, tourism stakeholders called on the government to provide modern training equipment to strengthen skills development for students pursuing tourism-related courses. The appeal was made by Associate Professor Rachel Mindra Katorogo, Deputy Principal of Makerere University Business School, MUBS, during a graduation ceremony for students who successfully completed their tourism courses.
Waited after qualifying in courses including air ticketing and reservation management, events planning, and tours and travel. Among others, this ceremony attracted various leaders and key stakeholders from the tourism sector. While addressing the guests, Associate Professor Rachel Mindra Katorogo asked the government to support the university with equipment to effectively implement the curriculum and enhance students' practical skills. She further appealed for government initiatives such as the Parish Development Model (PDM) to be extended to support graduates as they start their own businesses.
Institution, we're getting into the competence-based education. We're transitioning our curriculum to ensure that skilling is practical and effective in our journey of innovation, and also supporting creativity, and also supporting students and graduates who are going to be relevant to not just employment, but also creating jobs and also supporting entrepreneurship in this country. So we are very proud to be part of this journey, and we are very, very committed to working with various stakeholders to attain this responsibility of skilling and also passing on competencies to our graduates as they leave, and also to the public who want to particularly certify or to professionalize or to just get a particular skill for them to go and be relevant in the space of tourism.
The head of the tourism department, Celestine Katongole, urged individuals working in the tourism sector without formal qualifications to enroll for the professional training to improve standards and boost Uganda's tourism industry.
These courses are very, very nice. They are practical, 70% practical. Theory is only 30%, and we deliver them in partnership with our partners in the industry who are in practice. These students study here, but they also go into practice where they spend time with employers, they spend time in organizations. We keep supervising them, we visit them, we check on them, we advise them, and when they come back here, they sit exams. Those who pass and are able to graduate, celebrate, have a celebration like today. This course is only 3 to 4 months in duration. To apply, anybody can apply for as long as you have P7, you have Senior 4, you have Senior 6. You could even have a degree, but you have a passion for tourism, you have a passion for hospitality.
The chairperson of Tour Guides Forum Uganda, James Mwere, also called upon the government to provide more support to tour operating companies to strengthen this sector.
The target was to achieve that the guides can have a short course from a reputable institution like MOBS and maybe any other institutions across the country. And today we have added the first batch getting their certificates. There have been an awarding ceremony for the certificates, which has been conducted by the deputy principal of the university and of course the dean of the faculty and the head of department for tourism.
The ceremony concluded with graduates receiving their certificate, expressing excitement and readiness to join the tourism industry.
Also, on the side of tour guides, one of our objectives is to make sure that we train and skill our members and also other people outside in the communities.
The ceremony concluded with graduates receiving their certificate, expressing excitement and readiness to join the tourism industry.
We were the first bunch. There were challenges of management and everything. But as time went on, things were manageable. We learnt a lot. And I'm so glad that today I received my certificate.
Mike Bakabulindi, UBC.
Relatedly, more than 100 students at Makerere University Business School MUBS took bold steps toward entrepreneurship during Impact Week 2026. The 4-day ideation boot camp, organized in partnership with Thomas More University of Applied Sciences, is designed to help students turn business ideas into practical income-generating ventures.
20 student teams were selected from over 200 applications submitted nationwide. During the boot camp, they are receiving hands-on training in business planning, market research, financial management, and pitch presentation.
This Impact Week is very, very critical for us as an institution. Not just a demonstration of what partnerships and collaborations can do, but what bringing together young people to see their potential, to see what they can do in terms of product development, in terms of ideation, in terms of critical thinking, applying not just classroom knowledge, but also advice and guidance to move to the next stage of developing their businesses.
The initiative responds directly to Uganda's youth unemployment challenge.
This is an opportunity for us to begin the transitioning process, but also to see that we have to get out of the classroom to make entrepreneurship work. As a country, businesses are the ones that make us transform society through impactful businesses like this, but also this is what generates revenue for the country.
Each year, thousands of graduates enter the job market with limited opportunities.
We support the student to understand their business better, so they get a business coach who supports them to understand their business better. Those that have a product will possibly go to a facility where they can go and use shared equipment and other shared facilities to enable them to take their business further. We can support them by linking them to other actors who have, for example, finance and any other support that is necessary to enable their business.
At least 10 of the participating startups will continue into a 6-month mentorship program to refine their products and prepare for the market.
So that they can actually be able to be shaped, they can be sharpened into given that support they need in form of business development, such that they are able to actually shape up their business models, be able to actually grow these ventures that they have into real enterprises that can be able to create jobs for other fellow youth.
For UBC News, I'm Sudat Kaye.
So, Muchara.
Yes, Daddy.
You know the children are going back to school and things are a bit tight. For now, why don't you take half of the fees to junior school, and for the school van contribution, we shall pay later.
Daddy, why don't we pay using MTN Momo, where we stand a chance of winning school fees for a whole year and more? By the way, you can also apply for a school fees loan, and also participating schools can win a school van.
That's right! Win school fees for a whole year and more. Get Momo goodies and a school van for participating schools. You can also apply for a school fees loan. Simply dial *165*80# or use the Momo app.
My question is, what is the difference between rental tax and income tax? How comes I'm paying both taxes on my own premises? If you want to have a tin, but you are not making any income from your business, you should take on the obligation to continue filing your nil return.
Commissioner General, to invest in taxation. When people understand taxes and they know the importance of taxes and they know the fair assessment of these taxes they're supposed to pay, I think everybody will embrace taxation.
As banning groupage cargo, clearance protects small traders who cannot afford to import full container loads individually and rely on consolidation to remain competitive. Cargo to come in groupage is consolidation, it's legitimate, and we can't ban it. What we have banned, or what we have stopped, is the use of container leaders. Now, Fiona, the good news I have for you is that among the new tax proposals,
now you can get direct answers. Send your tax-related questions via WhatsApp or SMS to 0790-141-887, and the Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, will personally address them. Tune in to UBC News Tonight every Monday and Wednesday for expert insights and clear explanations. Booza, Commissioner.
So, Muchara. Yes, Daddy.
You know the children are going back to school and things are a bit tight. For now, why don't you take half of the fees to junior school, and for the school van contribution, we shall pay later.
Daddy, Why don't we pay using MTN Momo, where we stand a chance of winning school fees for a whole year and more? By the way, you can also apply for a school fees loan, and also participating schools can win a school van.
That's right! Win school fees for a whole year and more. Get Momo goodies and a school van for participating schools. You can also apply for a school fees loan. Simply dial *165*80# or use the Momo app.
Welcome back from the break. Now in more news, in business news, Ugandan, Kenyan and Tanzania's railways corporations reviewed their tripartite agreement with the goal of signing a new and binding framework to strengthen the regional rail transport. A joint delegation from the Kenyan and Ugandan railway corporations on Friday met the Minister of Works and Transport, General Edward Katumba Wamala, to update him on the progress of negotiations and the proposed timelines for concluding the agreement.
Uganda Railways Corporation and Kenya Railways Corporation are forging renewed partnerships aimed at boosting cargo transport by rail between the port of Mombasa and Kampala. To ensure smooth and efficient cargo operations, the Managing Director of Uganda Railways Corporation, Benon Kajuna, emphasized the need for a binding tripartite agreement that clearly outlines the roles and obligations of each partner state.
Of course, we are going to work hand in hand with the Tanzania Railways Corporation, and we are saying from now up to June 30th, we should have finalized it. And the legal departments will be able to take the lead together with the operations department, so that they can be able to look at the nitty-gritties of this. Then we also agreed that every month we shall be meeting with our Attorney Generals, the Solicitor General's offices, to make sure that the moment we finalize like this, then we are able to give it to them and they are able to clear. So the main objective is to make sure that we improve on the movement of our goods seamlessly from Mombasa, from Dar es Salaam, through to Kampala.
The meeting with the ministers sought to brief him on the status of the negotiations, the expected time frame for signing the new agreement, and the anticipated outcomes once the framework is operational.
When you see the trucks which are on our roads and the number of accidents, if we can move them onto the rail, that would be better. But also to give the transporters affordable transport means. Road transport is very expensive. So I'm happy that these developments have come and that now you are getting together as we were before. Sometimes it's very interesting. If our forefathers then were able to work together, and yet they were not as exposed as we are, why are we failing to work together in this age? When we are,
With the population of the East African community steadily rising, cargo volumes destined for the region have grown significantly, increasing pressure on existing transport infrastructure.
If you walk out here and then drive from Kampala to Malaba, you will take almost 5 to 6 hours. Because this evening, you cannot drive along those roads because in every 1 meter, you have a road. What is the implication? Our governments are spending so much money to repair and maintain roads. It doesn't matter how many roads you build. You can build roads going up, downwards, underground. You will never have sufficient roads for these roads. So what we are saying, let us have a balance where cargo goes by the railway system and some cargo also goes by road.
By shifting substantial portion of the over 17 million tons of cargo destined for Uganda from road to rail, stakeholders say the rail, once the preferred mode of freight transport, can reclaim its lost prominence while reducing road congestion and transport costs.
Kampala, Uganda, we are strategically located as a transport hub because we are served by different corridors. And we are saying we should utilize that as a way of improving our logistics, to connect to South Sudan, to DRC, to Rwanda, Burundi, and also back to Kenya and Tanzania.
Dennis Igoa for UBC.
Thank you, Dennis Segoa. Now, the Uganda Halal Bureau secured game-changing recognition from Malaysia's JAKIM as an official foreign halal certification body. This recognition is expected to unlock doors to one of the world's biggest halal markets, thanks to Uganda Free Zones and Export Promotions Authority's strategic facilitation.
Malaysia demands JAKIM approval for all halal labeled imports. Now, Ugandan products certified by the Uganda Halal Bureau, like processed foods, meat, poultry, dairy, gain automatic access to the country's $21 billion annual food import pipeline.
Halal normally takes two routes. There is a technical route, then there is a theological route. So when they came to the country, they looked at our level, then they decided that we can move with them to the level which is acceptable globally.
Uganda Free Zones and Export Promotions Authority, UFZEPA, coordinated the accreditation, aligning Uganda's certification with global standards.
Among all those products that we are certifying and selling as halal products, where do we need to put more effort?
UZEPA being an export promotions authority, its voice would be clear, would be loud enough to reach various sectors, because most of the people think that halal is for Muslims, of which it is not true, because this industry is for everyone once you're able to comply.
This positions the Uganda Halal Bureau for Brunei entry and future GCC breakthroughs, catapulting Ugandan exporters into high-value international standards compliant trade lines.
Us reaching this level is basically a confirmation that Uganda has moved, not just in the certifying sector, but in the manufacturing space, that we have moved to a level where our products can access these markets, both in quality, in food safety, and in halal, because those three things must always be in tandem.
Malaysia represents structured opportunity of heavy food import reliance that meets Uganda's agro-processing push. Halal certification becomes exporters' golden ticket to premium pricing in Southeast Asia's structured market.
We need to move from participation in these expos, trade fairs, and other economic and commercial diplomacy interventions to results.
Beyond compliance, recognition validates Uganda's quality systems for risk-averse buyers. UFZEPA is bridging certification gaps that block billions in exports. This positions Uganda's $1.5 billion agri-exports for halal premiumization amid Africa Free Continental Free Trade Area and global Islamic economic growth. Wadulo Arnold Mark for UBC News.
Very much.
And now that brings us to the end of this afternoon's weekly news roundup. That's about how much our reporters gathered for you the past week. But tonight, expect news stories with me, Moureen Babirye, at 8 and 10 p.m. in our subsequent news bulletins. For now, good afternoon.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be. Exercise can't be sustained.